I'm Alan Dale from Gale Force One. It's an absolute pleasure to be here at Discovery Community College in beautiful Nanaimo, British Columbia, talking to folks that are really making a difference. And on that note, why don't you introduce yourself, tell us what you do.
My name is Rina. I'm a nurse, I'm an LPN, and I currently work as a care coordinator for Optima living at the Hamlets in Duncan.
Rina, talk to me a little bit about you not always being a nurse. How did you
No.
start? What was it like? What was your journey into nursing?
Well, my mother said I would be a great nurse, and of course, then I wanted to do the opposite.
Okay.
So I went off to college and took a few courses, and then started working with a private company as a caregiver, and realized I was actually pretty good at it.
Right.
So then I had an epiphany, went back to my mother, and I said, you know what, I should be a nurse. She was like, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So I started my education in Victoria. I transferred to Calgary, where I finished my program. And then I had the amazing opportunity. I went up north, rural, like to Terrace, BC.
Okay.
And I was there, and I had the best nursing experience in the small towns. I worked at the hospital in acute care. They utilized me because the scope is so broad now.
Right.
So I was able to work maternity, emergency room, medical, surgical. And then I found myself transferred all through BC, where I worked in the interior as an acute care nurse. And then I started teaching. So I started with a private college in Kelowna, and then we were transferred again to Vancouver Island, where I worked at NRGH as an acute care nurse, medical surgical. And then I picked up a teaching contract, and I worked for a private college here. And then I was there for 10 years, really enjoyed it, but realized I had to follow my good friend, who I've worked with for many years, took a position as a director of care in long-term care. And I applied for a position there, and then I became a CL, which essentially is a care coordinator.
Wow.
So now my role is to mentor and manage nurses, student nurses, HCAs, assist with the load, try to educate for medications, best practice, and yeah, I'm 24 years of nursing, but that's like 104 nursing years.
104 nursing years.
So.
Talk to me about where your life, your journey intersects with Discovery Community College.
So I've been around students of Discovery for many years, whether it be working in a long-term care home or working at the hospital. I also met a lot of the instructors here, and so our paths have crossed because you can teach as well as hold your regular job. And so getting to know the instructors here, you know, we call on nurses for clinical practice if we need them. Discovery students also have been at our site as HCAs and LPNs. And then we've actually recently hired a bunch of new grads from Discovery College. So we're really happy because the nursing shortage was always so prevalent over the last few years. And now we're happy to say that because of Discovery and some of the programs, we're able to fill our lines, and our residents are getting all the care they need, and we're keeping it local. So
I wanted to talk to you about, you know, the changes in nursing and the scope of sort of practice that nurses and the opportunities, really. But your lead in and what you've done, I mean, you've pretty much touched everything. You've sort of touched all aspects of nursing. Does that exist for a new graduate? Could they have that same journey that you just described to me?
Yeah, of course. You know, we always sort of encourage our new grads to get as much experience as they can in as many avenues. What's lovely about the Discovery program is they get to touch their feet into long-term care, mental health, acute care. They have all these opportunities where they can decide where they want to give their energy to. Now, the world is utilizing nurses for more aspects. So my position that I currently hold as an LPN would not necessarily have been a position for an LPN 10 years ago.
Right.
It would have been an RN position. But now that the programs are longer and our scope is getting bigger, they can utilize us in different avenues. So you can become a nurse in acute care and end up running a facility one day, if that's your choice.
You know, there'd be people sitting around a kitchen table and they're wondering, could I do this? Should I do this? I feel like I can. What would you tell them about being a nurse?
I would say absolutely. Nursing is not just a career, it's a passion. Every day is not easy. It's a hard-working profession. And the reward is not just, a paycheck every 2 weeks. It's changing people's lives, learning from experiences, being there on somebody's worst day, being there on somebody's birthday. Nurses, every day is different. So nursing is a passion, not just a career.
What's it take to be a good nurse?
Empathy, compassion, patience, therapeutic communication, knowing how to talk to people when they're not at their best, and assessing situations for safety, which is fairly new, and leaning on your coworkers. Because when you have great coworkers, it makes the day really, really wonderful. So.
Thank you for everything you do.
Oh, thank you.